Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So, we have our final. In this ASMR video talking about football, or soccer, I'm going to talk about the World Cup, of course, and I'm going to do it in a quiet way to help you sleep. That's what ASMR is all about, right? So, yeah, let's look at the semi-final results. We'll do a little bit of a reaction on those games as well. I just watched both of them over the last 2 days, and we're going to look at the final and give our predictions. And in the next video, coming just after the weekend, Sunday night is the final match, or Sunday day actually, so maybe I can put it out Sunday night. I will do my not just a reaction to the final, but the overall reaction for the whole tournament. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so the two semi-final results. Argentina beating Croatia 3-0, and France beating Morocco 2-0. So let's look up the lineups first. Okay, so Argentina started with a very familiar lineup. No massive changes, but different from the original group stage lineups that they had. McAllister being an absolute key performer, that Brighton and Hove Albion midfielder, and De Paul, his incredible work rate, and Alvarez instead of Lautaro Martinez, who just seems to, particularly in this match at least, and the previous one, have a better connection with Messi. I think possibly because Martinez is more of, correct me if I'm wrong, but he seems to me, watching him in Serie A as well this year, he's more of a goal poacher, and I think Messi needs more. I think he needs someone around him that's going to do the running, chasing, harrowing, run down the line, just be where he is and where he needs him to be, and Alvarez is the person for that. And those four in midfield, they're not particularly creative. I think De Paul maybe is the most creative, but they just form a bank of four, solid bank, tackle, run around like lunatics, do everything to get the ball to Messi. They don't really get many goals, but they just the team basically is built about how do we get the ball to Messi. And that's a reasonable thing to do. When you've got a player like that, why would you not play to him? I remember Wales, when Bale was at his absolute best, that time he reached the semi-final of the Euros, we just basically had 10 players that would stop a goal, get possession, and get it to Bale, and that was the tactic. And that's kind of why Wales come unstuck at this tournament, because we couldn't do that. But yeah, if Messi is that player still, which he clearly is, he was sensational. All the dribbling skills. That third goal. So the first goal, basically, Messi himself, penalty. It was a penalty. Some of the commentators said they didn't think it was. It was. Secondly, Alvarez, that goal running right the way through them, just terrible defending, and a bit of bad luck as well, with all the balls bounces. And then the third one was just pure class from Messi, just took on, Guardiola, who's, everyone is after him at the minute. He's supposed to be the next big thing in defence. Didn't have a clue, couldn't deal with Messi. The way he's sped up and slowed down, and then accelerated and slowed down and turned and went that way. He couldn't touch him without giving away a penalty then. And then he just squared the ball and Alvarez put it in. So, yeah, Messi was sensational. And, real shame for Modric. Obviously, Kovacic had a good game. Brozovic didn't do anything, got taken off quite early. Pasalic 2, Kramaric not had a great tournament really. Perisic tried a couple of things but was unsuccessful. He did his best. Lovren was pretty good actually. It says 6.3 there, I think it's a bit harsh. Gvardiol and Livakovic didn't have the best game. He has been sensational in this tournament. And then coming off the bench, Martinez, Palacios, Dybala didn't really do much. Foyth and Correa all at the end. And Vlasic didn't get on the ball like we know he can. Orsic didn't run at defenders like we know he can. Petkovic, I saw him out wide a couple of times. He's like 6'5", he needs to be in the middle. Livaya couldn't do anything. Maya actually looked the best of those, but he came on too late on 81 minutes. Yeah, and that's kind of how it went. So the back line just really settled and, didn't give much away. Well, obviously no goal scored, but Croatia just lacked that, fox in the box, I suppose they call it, or a focal point. They played some lovely football, really lovely football, but they were, 2-0 down, and they were just, passing it around nice in the middle. They couldn't get beyond. Perisic couldn't get beyond the back line, and when he did, he put in a cross this once, and it was just terrible. So, yeah, it was, beautiful football, a bit like Spain, in that sense that they pass it around lovely, but when they needed a goal, it just, And someone pointed out in the commentary team, actually, that Croatia have only won one match in this entire tournament, because they drew with Morocco, then they drew with Belgium, they beat Canada, they drew in 90 minutes against Japan, beat them on penalties, drew against Spain in 90 minutes, beat them on penalties, and then they're in the 16 quarter semi-finals, and they only won one match. They just couldn't score, but it only gets you so far. And when you're up against Messi in the form that he's in, he obviously, he's writing a history. It's such an amazing story, the final, for him to be in there. Okay, so that's that match. And then let's talk about France and Morocco next. So obviously I was supporting Morocco because everyone loves the underdogs, right? And actually, over 90 minutes, Morocco were the best team. And I fully accept other opinions, but I don't feel like an idiot saying that at all. The 2 goals for France, albeit from, pushing forward and throwing people forward, because the thing about France is they do have about 5 or 6 people at a time in attack, and they do really they sort of, they just, so many of them, because they're counter-attacking as well, they always look like they're going to score. But the 2 goals actually were just deflected, sort of balls just bounced into someone's path, and they've been stood there and put them away. They weren't any, magical goals or anything as such. It says here, player of the match, Theo Hernandez. I think he was either the best player or the worst player on the day. Like, he was ripped to shreds against England. He fell over if he was touched by a feather in this match. And he scored that goal. It was brilliantly taken, to be honest. A striker couldn't have done better. But then, because he's defending, he is the weakest point of the team, right? Because Mbappe stays forward to counter-attack, fair enough. But Fofana was coming over from the centre of midfield to help him out, because Morocco's right-hand side is their best in terms of attacking. Hakimi and Hakim, what's his name? From Chelsea. Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech and Hakimi. So they are their 2 best attacking players, and then they're up against Mbappe, who's up the other end of the pitch waiting for a counter-attack, and Hernandez, who's just there looking like he's trying to defend against 2-3 people at a time all by himself. So Fofana was coming over lots to try and help them out. Yeah, so I think, Messi and Alvarez are going to go down that side, and Mbappe, are they going to tell him to stay up? Are they going to tell him to come back and defend? You're not going to have many chances to get past the back line of Argentina, so you should really stay up, and that's the way you play. But then how are they going to deal with the problem? Hernandez looked bad against Ziyech and Hakimi, who both got 6 and 6.4. There's no way he's going to handle Messi. Messi is going to rip him to pieces. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. I wonder if Argentina, if they're losing the match, will they stick on Di Maria, and Di Maria will run at him. Yeah, I'm really shocked. He wasn't man of the match for me. Griezmann, probably, again, being man of the match, or Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni had all these 1-2s and broke up things in the middle of the pitch, passed it forward immediately. Griezmann was as good in defence as he was in attack. I've said in the last match that against England, I'm never his biggest fan, but he played the perfect midfield role today. He tackled and won the ball as many times in his box or around it as he set up chances. He was sensational, and he's just wandering in between the back lines. He, for me, is a bigger threat than Mbappe, in the sense that if you take your eye off him and you're thinking about Mbappe, Griezmann will hurt you because he's looking at all these passes. He was sensational. Dembele, actually, I thought he had a very quiet game today. It says 7.4. Don't know why. He had about one run, but there you go. Mbappe, he had, I think, certainly his running enabled the goals to happen, particularly the second when he tried to dribble through them all, and then the ball bounced and it just landed at the substitute's feet. Giroud was a little bit disappointing today, missed practically an open goal to make it 2-0. Not as good as we have seen him, but he'll more than likely start the final. I don't see any other option. And yeah, Amrabat was sensational again today. Unai was amazing, really good shot from distance, good link and play. Boufal was good, but he always tires and comes off after the 60-minute mark. And then injuries to the back line. They're lucky they even managed to get 4 defenders out, but Saiss went off in 21 minutes. Who was it that didn't even start? So he was on the start sheet. And then after the warm-up, they changed him over. I don't even know if he's on there. But yeah, he wasn't substituted, he just didn't make the start of the match. So 2 of their central defenders out straight away. Mazraoui, the left back from Bayern Munich, only made it to 46 minutes. He got substituted at half-time. So yeah, they had so many injuries. They were just, they tried so hard. And they played brilliantly. They were playing lovely triangles, 1-2 football. They just couldn't finish, and Nesri didn't put it in the back of the net. There was a chance later on for Hamdallah. He didn't put it away. And there was actually a really good, was it the defender, Yamik, who's been fantastic. I don't think he started in their usual back 4. They played 5 to deal with Mbappe, but they went to a back 4 within 21 minutes because not only did the captain Saiss come off, but they didn't have any central defenders to put on because all their central defenders are injured. So they went to a back 4, and Yamik went up the other end and he did an overhead kick and hit the post. Absolutely sensational. Amrabat was everywhere. If I were a Premier League club, I'd be ringing Fiorentina now. Rumours of him going to loads of clubs in the Premier League. Unai, loads of clubs are after him as well. So yeah, I thought they were sensational. Not as sensational as the manager, who's managed to get Morocco to a semi-final and look better than the reigning champions and team that are in the next final. 2 consecutive finals, and you outplayed them at times. I thought they were brilliant. And when they went 1-0 down in 4 minutes, I thought, oh god, here we go, it's going to be 4-0. But no chance. They played France off the park. But this is why France are in the final, because several games now they've not been the better team. Shout out to the England fans. And they've won. And that's kind of what a champion looks like, unfortunately. It's not always the team that plays the most beautiful football. Otherwise, you know, teams like Spain would be champion every year, or Brazil. But it's actually about ones that could be stubborn and stick in and just defend with their lives and get a goal. And Argentina and France tick both those boxes, to be honest. All of those boxes. So yeah. Okay, so predictions for the final. I'm gonna say my heart says Argentina for Messi. My head says France. So it's 50-50 at the minute. I personally will be supporting Argentina just because it's nicer for them to win it again than have France win it again so soon. I don't like monopolies. I hate it when the same team wins the same trophy again and again, a la Man City, Real Madrid, etc. Bayern Munich. So yeah, for me, Argentina, and it would be such a fairy tale story to solidify, you know, Messi has probably been one of the best, if not the best players of all time. And it will be his last international, his last international tournament perhaps, but his last World Cup. He won't make it 4 years, 3.5. So yeah, I'm rooting for Argentina, but I've enjoyed watching France, and I hope it's not too defensive. Both the semi-finals had way more goals than I thought they would have. 5 goals over 2 matches. I thought they'd be 0-0s. So I've got a horrible feeling it's going to be a 0-0 final. But equally, it could be 4-3 like it was in the last World Cup when these two teams played each other. Because Messi is going to go for it, Mbappe is going to go for it. Yeah, it's, you know, to be honest, it's two of the absolute superstars with their countries in the final. And I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll let you know. And in the other match, I think Croatia on penalties, 0-0. But I hope Morocco get third. That would be sensational for Morocco, an African nation, Arab nation, Muslim nation, to get third in the World Cup, in an Arab World Cup. So good luck to them. Remembering that they've already played each other in the group stage, which was 0-0. So we'll see. And yeah, okay, I will do my next video talking about the final results and do a review of the whole competition. I hope you've enjoyed these videos recently, and I hope you're even more excited to get back to normal and go back to the leagues as soon as possible. Okay, take it easy everyone. Thanks so much for all your comments. Ta-da.